Hello once again and welcome to the Cory Sauter Show here in Studio 1. I'm Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at Southwest Minnesota State University, and it's another look back here at Mustang football. An exciting Mustang victory last Saturday as the Mustangs beat Upper Iowa 40-34 in overtime. We'll talk about that game with the head coach. We'll also take a look at the highlights and we'll preview this week's game versus Winona State University as the Mustangs return home after a two-game road stand and take on the Warriors this Saturday afternoon at the Regional Event Center. And joining us on the show, obviously, is the head coach, Cory Sauter, a happy head coach as the Mustangs coming off a 6-point overtime victory over Upper Iowa. And Coach, we'll take a look at the highlights. There's plenty to look at here this week, but a very interesting ball game, lots of ups and downs. Started out very well. You really dominated the first 20 minutes or so of the game, and Upper Iowa took the advantage there for a while. You had to rally back from a deficit late in the game, and you kind of had all the emotions, and really exciting to see the guys continue to fight back and get a big road victory.
Well, it was a big victory for our program. We wanted to go on the road and get a win, and I told the guys, every single ball game's different. Some games you're going to have those blowout type victories. Sometimes you're going to get blown out yourself. Sometimes it's going to be coming down to the wire. Sometimes it gets to overtime. It doesn't really matter what type of game it is. The bottom line is, did you finish it? Did you get the win? And we were able to do that. We were able to accomplish that with a lot of different players that have never caught touchdown passes before and things. So it was nice to see that everyone, the guys that we brought on that trip were required to do their end of the bargain, and we were able to do that. And so it was nice to see that. And you got to give them credit because they definitely put us in a tough situation late in the ball game, and we were able to finally get some things going. You take a look at the last 5 series offensively, we scored touchdowns on 3 of the last 5. So we started putting things together, but they definitely made things tough on us there for a while. Yeah,
you touched on it briefly in your remarks about guys having to step up, and there were some players that hadn't played a lot of snaps throughout the season, and you had some injuries that what we could touch on that, and you guys had to step up. Anthony Dean, who had 1 catch coming into the game, and he makes a big-time catch for a touchdown to tie it. He really got popped on the play, and he held on to the football. And you look at other plays, Brett Ballantyne, a senior, you expect him to step up, and he did that, and not only had 8 catches, but had some big ones as well, including a big first down to keep a drive alive. And Britt Wickett had some big catches, a career day for him as well. And it's neat to see those things and to know that practice and all that off-season working does make a difference, because when you need the guys to step up, they did it.
Well, part of that is just getting an opportunity, and they were definitely given that opportunity. Going into the ball game, we only had really 2 running backs total. We didn't have any fullbacks. We just had Gannon Moore and Phil Bradle, and Bradle ended up getting dinged up a little bit with a possible concussion, and so we were down to 1 running back there for quite a bit of the game. And you hate to think about, okay, what if Gannon Moore goes down? What's that next step? And we were essentially kind of scrambling on the sideline, figuring out, okay, who's going to be that next person that would fill in that spot. And but we were able to make it through the ball game. We'll get some guys healthy this week, and hopefully that'll help us out a little bit. But we're definitely very pleased with the guys' efforts and the way they were able to handle adversity, handle kind of the tough situation of the situation. And so we're excited about that, and we've got 3 big ball games ahead of us here, and all 3 opponents that we play this year are all 5-3 right now, and so we've got a big, tough stretch ahead of us.
Yeah, well, the Mustangs with the victory over Upper Iowa improved to 4-4 overall and 3-4 in the NSIC. And if the Mustangs can get a victory this Saturday, they'd be 5-4. It'll be their best record, the first time they've been 5-4 since the 2004 season. So again, a big week coming up against Winona State University. But looking back at Saturday's game, SMSU fell behind 6-0 as the Peacocks took the opening drive and scored. But SMSU came back, scored 2 touchdowns on their first 2 possessions. You get 3 3-and-outs by your defense, and the offense moved the ball again inside the 30-yard line. You went for it on 4th down, a play that could have gone either way. Shane Ledecky just couldn't hang on to the ball on a pass in the end zone. I really believe if that's a touchdown, it's 21-6. And it's hard to say, but I think the momentum would have been on the Mustangs sideline, and who knows what could have happened. I think it might have been maybe a blowout for the Mustangs, but they get the stop to the Peacocks. They come down and get a field goal, and it was a ball game from there. And one thing, the defense, probably yardage-wise, didn't give up the most yards they have this season, but they did very well against some very good offenses, and the Peacocks had their way for a while, but when they had to get stops, they did in the red zone, and that's kind of been their trademark all season long.
Well, they have, and that's kind of an area where we excelled, and we take great pride in that. We put a lot of preparation into that and trying to get our guys in good position, and really I think our players are playing with pretty good technique as far as allowing themselves to make plays. So that was nice to see. But I thought all in all, and he kind of alluded to just, momentum, that whole end of it where we did go for it on 4th and 2, and we were just very close to a score in there. It was a very questionable call, but I thought that we had a shot at kind of opening the game up, so we went for it, and but they battled back and really clawed and scratched, and it was definitely going to be a ball game that we had to fight every inch, and we're just kind of pretty much exchanging touchdowns and points and trying to get back in the ball game. We were able to do that in the fourth quarter.
Well, the Mustangs held a 14-9 halftime lead, and Mustangs opened up the second half with the ball, but a turnover led to a touchdown for the Peacocks, and they took the lead for the second time in the game, and then the Mustangs came back, scored. Upper Iowa would go ahead, and then you score early in the fourth quarter to take a 3-point lead, and again the Peacocks had first and goal, a chance to take the lead, but the defense held. You force them to a field goal, and again, you give credit to Upper Iowa. They didn't quit, and their offense clicked there at times. But the Mustangs did trail 1:47 to go in the game, a touchdown by the Peacocks. Tough goings, but the Mustangs got a nice kickoff return by Sean Younger, and it set you guys up for a quick scoring drive to tie it up. And what were your thoughts going into that last minute and a half, knowing you have 4 downs to convert to first down to keep drives alive, but really wasn't too many in doubt. I mean, you had a 3rd down you had to pick up, but the guys really just seemed calm and got that touchdown in less than 50 seconds or so, and the game's tied again.
Yeah, it was nice to see with the game on the line. It always is nice when you have 4 downs to pick up a first down, because it just makes things a lot easier. And I thought just the efficiency of our 2-minute offense was very well done. Guys getting out of bounds, getting yardage, taking quick underneath throws, and we were able to mix it up. And but I thought our guys were very, very composed, very relaxed in that situation. They felt like we could go down and score. After we were behind, in that situation, and we were kind of already thinking about it, getting ourselves ready to go mentally. Ryan took control of that huddle on the sideline before we took the field. And guys believed in him. Guys felt like we were actually going to go down and score, not just talk about it. And it was nice to get that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, the Mustangs did tie it with a 1:02 to go on an Anthony Dean 24-yard touchdown reception. The Peacocks did have a minute to try to get into field goal range, but the Mustang defense forces a 3-and-out. Kurt Gosser made a great play to knock down a 3rd down and conversion attempt for the Peacocks, and that just led into overtime as the Peacocks ran 3 pass plays in overtime, and on the 3rd one, a big interception by Kurt Gosser, his team leading 4th of the year, and that just sparked. You won the coin toss, you go on defense, which is what you have to do, and that makes it a lot easier as well when you get that stop, and knowing that you just have to get a field goal to win, and so you take over an overtime, Coach. And what was your thoughts? Obviously, we haven't made a field goal all season, just 0 for 2. Yeah. But, I think Mike's got a pretty good leg, and you're confident with him. But was it just basically, let's get in field goal range, and it just happened that Gannon kept getting up yards and eventually scored a touchdown?
Right. Well, you kind of alluded to it before, too, with, winning the coin toss is big in overtime, because if you can go on defense first, that makes a big difference, because then you know exactly what you need. And, defense did a phenomenal job, creating that turnover. They kind of got away from what they were doing in the game. They kind of got a little excited and started to throw the ball around a little bit, and Gosser was in great position on the end zone play, and threw it up, and he made the interception. So once we got the ball back, then our whole mentality was, let's just take low risk plays, whether it's a quick throw, a run play, and once we knew, and we were essentially in field goal range right away, but once we got down inside there, that last play where Gannon scored, we were just essentially just trying to get a few more yards, and he ended up breaking the tackle and made it very, very easy for us. But it was just a nice way for us to capitalize on their mistake and ultimately win the ball game.
Yeah, Gannon Moore finished with about 120 yards of total offense. He had 3 touchdowns, and for his efforts, he was named the NSIC Offensive Player of the Week in the 14-team league. So congratulations to Gannon Moore. He's the 3rd Mustang to get Conference Player of the Week's award this year. Kurt Gosser was Defensive Player back in September, and Mike Wank was a Special Teams Player of the Week earlier this season as well. So a big day for the Mustangs as they get the victory 40-34 over Upper Iowa. And again, we talked about the whole things you had to deal with the road trip, a long road trip, and with some injuries and whatnot, and you came pretty close to finishing the game without too many more injuries. Did have a couple, as you mentioned, but again, it's just amazing the things we've had to deal with this year on both sides of the football. Losing leading tackler, returning tackler from last year, one of your top linebackers, and Derek Klinkner, and then Nick DeCaniva has missed the last 3 games, and his return's doubtful, and it just all those things. And then you have a guy like 6th-year senior and Paul Mickey, who led the team in tackles with 11 during the game, and guys just made plays when they had to, and you down a cornerback as well, but your seniors and some of those veterans came through.
Well, they stepped up, and the night before the game, we talked about accountability, and we actually took the room and split it in half. We had the offense go to one side, defense go to the other, and we actually paired up guys. And so, and it wasn't just their best friend. They would just pair up with random guys. And essentially what we told them is, we need to keep each other up because it's pretty much, this is a very small, close-knit group that we have to stay together, especially when you're on the road. There's no one, a whole lot of other people cheering for you besides the parents. And so before the game, halftime, during the game, those accountability partners really, I thought, made a big difference as far as keeping our players' minds in the game and keeping our focus where it needed to be, especially in a situation where, like I said, every ball game is going to be different. It's going to be a close game. It might be a blowout, but we've got to play 4 quarters of football, in this case, overtime football, and that was nice to see that our guys were really just pushing each other, never really giving up, never really thinking that losing was an option, just staying with it and really believing in one another.
Yep, and it had to happen in this contest. Again, the Mustangs fell behind late in the contest, but stuck together, got the game-tying touchdown, and then the extra point to tie it, and then win it in overtime on the Gannon Moore 9-yard touchdown run. So we've talked about the ball game. Let's take a look at the highlights. There were plenty of them from Saturday from Fayette, Iowa, as the Mustangs take on Upper Iowa. And we start off in the first quarter of play. And again, Gannon Moore was your leading rusher in the contest, and really big yards here in this first play of the game, actually.
Yeah, it was nice to get him the ball early. Kind of set the tone, and he's a tough guy to bring down with one guy. And you can see here he can move the pile. It takes more than one guy to bring Gannon down.
Gannon, 16 attempts, 64 yards. Continuing on this first quarter drive, here's a catch down to Brett Wickett on a 4th down conversion. Big catch and run.
It really was. We were kind of in that no man's land where we weren't quite sure if we wanted to kick a field goal there, so we decided to go for it. We're in good position, and Brett just makes a heck of a catch there.
Career high 7 receptions for Wickett, and then the Mustangs cap off the drive with a Gannon Moore touchdown.
Yep, and we like when Gannon gets the ball down here. He's, again, very powerful runner, and he does a nice job. Our offensive line gets a crease, and he's able to hit it with full speed.
Go to the defensive side, pinning the Peacocks down, and good read by Brandon Torrey stepping up here and limiting a short run.
Right, and you can see him here on the left side of your screen, knifing through there, eliminating anybody blocking him. He makes a nice tackle.
Mustangs now leading 7-6, a screen to Gannon Moore, and we've seen this a lot here this season. Second leading receiver reception-wise for the Mustangs.
Yeah, that's kind of unique. A lot of times your receivers and slot receivers are going to be your leading guy, but we're able to get the ball really a bunch of guys over the course of the year, and Gannon's done a nice job when the balls come to him.
And the Mustangs take the lead here on a Ryan Radican design draw, and Mustangs lead 14-6.
Yep, and they essentially we're a heavy passing team down here, and just to break the tendency, a little bit of a quarterback draw with our tailback kind of leading up in the hole, and we're able to create another crease.
Rob Slinkman leads the team in tackles for loss, and gets one here for the Mustangs.
Yep, and Robbie's had a nice year, and you can see him. He's just a very physical player, tough guy to block, and hopefully we can have 3 more good games out of him.
You're pinned deep here in the second quarter, and your first play, pump fake, and this really got you out of trouble. A big reception for 39 yards for Brett Ballantyne.
Seems like our best success is when we're backed up. We're taking some chances here, but we felt like we would get good protection, which we did, and we got both of our outside receivers isolated on those corners.
Back on the defensive side, Jason Fernholz with a tackle for loss. A first down run, good for Jason, filling in for Nick DeCaniva.
Yep, and he's played very, very well in his role, and really has stepped up beyond everybody's expectations.
Here's Brett Ballantyne again. He had 8 catches, 118 yards receiving, and a touchdown. Career highs for him, and this is in the third quarter, and a nice pass by Radican, just finding that open spot in the zone.
Yep, we did a little sprint out to the side to move the pocket a little bit, and Ryan found him in the hole.
Here's Phil Brado, backup tailback in the contest, another screen. Similar play that we had for Gannon Moore, and again, Phil's a tough guy to bring down, and he took a hit, but he gets the first down setup. And then Brett Ballantyne, his touchdown of the game, good double move, and the touchdown and a perfect pass by Radican.
Yep, we get the pump fake. We get, again, very good protection. Ryan's got time to throw this, and usually when he gets time, he's going to make a pretty good throw.
That gave the Mustangs the lead. Upper Iowa has the lead now, and a big third down play here to try to keep a drive alive, but the Mustangs, a great read by Brandon Torrey to stop that screen on third down.
It sure was, and screens can be dangerous, especially if you don't see it early, and he sees it, knifes through those 2 defenders, and makes a nice ankle tackle.
Mustangs are trailing at the time, and now they need to get the ball back. They do, and have a chance to take the lead, and another big run by Radican, who shows his versatility.
Yeah, he's pretty crafty. He's able to make a few guys miss, and really set up his blocks pretty well. And for a non-running back, he's pretty good with the ball in his hands.
We go to the fourth quarter, and a third down, a reception here by Brett Ballantyne. This kept a drive alive. There's one of the pops that big hit he took, but he held on to the ball.
Yep, and these are those third downs you just got to convert, and we're able to do that. And it was nice to see Brett hold on to that football.
And we continue with the drive now. The Mustangs regain the lead. Another screen, great blocking downfield by your receivers, and touchdown, Gannon Moore.
Yep, you see everybody, and this is what makes the play is, everyone's selling it and then getting the great blocks down the field. You see a lot of bodies on the ground, great blocks, and it was nice to see him get another touchdown.
That's with about 13 minutes to go. The Mustangs take the lead. Now the Peacocks have a chance to take the lead, but a big goal line stand for the Mustangs. Joe Stupka and Ben Peterson and Logan Van Dyke are the next 3 highlights.
Really, and they've really just played phenomenal. Once teams get down here, we've given up some points, but by and far we've been very stingy down here as far as defensively.
Here's Ben Peterson making the tackle for loss, and then coming up on third down, and Logan Van Dyke makes a tackle there as well, and the Mustangs, here's a stop by Van Dyke, and again, the game is tied at this point. And the Peacocks, they get a stop here. There's Van Dyke, number 90. They go down and score and take the lead, but you need a touchdown to tie it. This is in the last drive. In the first play, big catch underneath for a first down to Gannon Moore.
Right, and we get it out of his hand. We went empty here, and good thing is we're getting out of bounds. We're stopping the clock. We're using the clock to our advantage and making things happen.
Here's a big third down catch by Wickett to keep that drive alive. And take a look at Ryan Radican. Give him credit. He's stuck in the pocket.
He sure did. You knew the guy was open, but you knew he had to just get the ball off, and he took a big hit. But that was really one of the big plays of the game.
And that kept the drive going. Next play, bottom of your screen, Radican fires it to Anthony Dean, his first career touchdown.
Nice job concentrating. That's always a tough thing for a receiver when the ball's hanging in the air like that, waiting for it, and being able to finish it off with the touchdown catch. And that was nice to see him get his first one of his career.
So that ties it. Here's a third down now in overtime. Peacocks looking for some points, and Ben Curran intercepted. Great job by Kurt Gosser.
Yep, and Gosser just shields the guy off from the get-go and is in great position for the interception, has his head back and goes up and jumps, catches it at the highest point.
Here's from the 9-yard line, the touchdown to win the game. Gannon Moore right to the pylon, dives in, touchdown, Mustangs win. And just using that ability and good blocking there on the left side, Rodas and Teal and company, and they got a touchdown.
Yep, absolutely. And again, we were prepared to kick a field goal there, but it always makes it a lot easier when you can just score and not have to worry about a snap and hold and kick and everything else that goes into kicking a field goal.
Yeah, pretty amazing, and just an exciting win for the Mustangs. Turnovers, one for each squad. The Peacocks took advantage of a interception by Ryan Radican and scored a touchdown, and the Mustangs obviously did the same as Gosser had the interception and then the touchdown by the Mustangs. In overtime, 40-34, the Mustangs get the win, and as you mentioned, 4-4 overall and 3-4 in the conference. And a person we haven't talked about much, he did have a PAT blocked, but had the extra points he made, including a tying one at the end of regulation. But in the punt game, Mike Wank continues just to boot the ball, and I know he was second in the conference going into last week, and he might be number one this week now. He had 2 kicks over 50 yards, and some big ones as well. You're down 3 in the third quarter, and he pins Upper Iowa at the 11-yard line with a big 59-yard punt, and he's really done extremely well this year, extending that leg and getting the punts that you need, not only the deep ones, but inside the 20 as well.
Absolutely, and it's tough to do both. For a punter to kick and kicker to punt, those are obviously different form to that. I've never been a kicker myself, so I don't know exactly how that works, but it definitely is different, and he's just been a jugs machine, just shooting balls out left and right, balls coming out off his foot very, very nicely, and just been a huge weapon for us. Even if we have a 3-and-out, we're in great shape as far as getting field position for our defense, and you can't say enough good things about him. And the nice thing is we have him for 3 more years. So
the amazing thing is that a lot of fans might not know, but field position is so critical, and it's little plays that if you're not going to score, at least pin them deep, and if you can't, again, get that touchdown, but if you get to midfield, you can at least stop them inside the 10, punt, and then get a 3-and-out, and now that field just changed. And an example would be when you're on offense, and that play we showed, that highlight earlier, where you're inside your 10-yard line, you have a long pass to Ballantyne that got you out. What is your goal on the offensive side when you're pinned inside your 20 or 10? Is it at least get 1 or 2 first downs?
Yeah, when we get inside our 10-yard line, we pretty much talk about try to get 2 first downs. If we can get 2 first downs, get back to just kind of a normal area on the field, then we can go ahead and punt it away. If we can drive, great, but if we have to punt it, at least we're not putting our defense in a very tough situation right away when they get the ball. But you alluded to, when we did turn the ball over, we had the interception. That led to points, okay, because of field position. Same thing. That's usually what it comes down to, because you just have to play the percentages. If you're backed up on your 10-yard line, that's a lot of first downs you have to get. That's a lot of third down conversions you have to get. And even if you're a great offense, you're going to convert about 45-50% of your third downs, and you do the math there. That's not very good odds to get 8 first downs or 7 first downs. It just minimizes that percentage.
Well, it was a great win. The Mustangs again now 2-2 on the road this season. They have one more road game left at Minnesota State Mankato in a couple of weeks, but they get the victory, now back to 500 at 4-4, 3-4 in the conference. With the victory over Upper Iowa. It's the second overtime win for SMSU over Upper Iowa in the last few years. SMSU is their 3rd all-time victory in overtime. We're now 3-5 in overtime games since the NCAA added overtimes in 1998. Well, now the Mustangs, after a couple of weeks on the road, will return home to the Regional Event Center for a game on Saturday afternoon. 4:30 will be the start time. We have soccer at noon that particular day, and so the Mustang football is at 4:30, and promises to be an exciting ball game. Winona State coming to town, Cory, and over the years, the last 15-20 years, has been one of the top teams in the conference, and they're showing it again this year. They're 5-3, a big road win at Concordia on Saturday, and they're a team that is very sound in all phases of the game. They like to run the football, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of them running the ball again this week. And they have a new quarterback who came into the lineup this past weekend, and he won his first career start. But they've got a lot of weapons, the Warriors, on both sides of the football.
They do, and we watched the film already for a couple days now, and they're just scary to watch because they've got good players across the board. You know, their special teams, they lead in certain categories. I believe Dewberry is one of the top return specialists, and so we definitely have our work cut out. We've had some good games against them over the past couple of years. You know, back in 2008, we beat them here at home, and I know our kids always get up for this game. You know, for whatever reason, they just get excited to play against Winona State, and they've got a great program, and it's going to take a heck of an effort because they just have so many weapons. Their quarterback now kind of gave them a little bit of a spark, a little bit of excitement on that end of it, and I know defensively they do have a new defensive coordinator that brings a little bit more pressure, and we're going to have to take care of business as far as protecting the football and those sorts of things that we talk about every week, and it'll definitely be a big challenge, and it'll be nice getting a few of our guys back again health-wise, and hopefully we can prepare like we have been the past several weeks and have a good showing on Saturday.
Yeah, again, one of the Mustangs that did miss the last game, his second game he's missed this year, is Warren Matthews, who was the team's leading rusher, and he was also the top kick return man, and you hope to have him back in the lineup, and that definitely will help. And I know Lawson Starr, the cornerback, missed the game with an injury, and so you've got you're dinged up in some of those spots, but guys just hopefully can get back into health, and they did get that. We talked about it last week. Victory Sunday, I believe you called it.
Yep.
And so they've had a couple days off now, and I know the guys are excited about that. And is that the plan again for this next week if the Mustangs can win?
It will be the plan from here on out. So yeah, if we win, we will have off Sunday, and then Monday's their day off naturally. Yeah. So they definitely appreciated that, and they really honestly needed it because you just physically just get beat up at this point of the year, and mentally you just need a little bit of a break from football and emotionally and coming off a big win. So I think it'll just help us out, and it's a great incentive because they love having that extra day to kind of sit in and watch football all day on TV or
go hunting
or whatever they need to do, and so it was nice to see them. It would have been a tough road trip back home if we would have lost that game because I know they put a lot into it and it meant a lot to them, and so I think it'll be something we'll continue throughout the rest of the season.
One thing I wanted to touch on, we were talking about special teams and Mike Wank doing a nice job punting and kicking as well, but the guy that goes unnoticed, he's been doing it for 4 years, is your long snapper, and knock on wood for these final 3 games, he's done such a great job just getting the ball back, and we take it for granted, but there's certain teams that just struggle punting the ball or getting their snaps, and they're constantly, maybe the punter will catch it, but it's high, it's low, or whatever, and he's got to, and he just continues to put it right on the mark on PATs and on punt return or punts as well. But Ryan Burke doing a great job as your long snapper. Yeah,
Burke has had just a heck of a career. I don't know if he's ever had a bad snap, and he. It's one of those things where it goes unnoticed until the bad one happens, and it's amazing how accurate he is and how much velocity he gets on the football. You don't even think about not having a good snap because it's always good, and but if you do have a bad snap, it throws off the timing of the punter, and that's part of the reason why Mike Wank's having a great year is punting the football too. But what a great weapon and a great leader too. He keeps everybody in line, and it's just a pleasure to have him in our football program. And like I said, it's just one of those things that goes unnoticed quite a bit during the year, and you can just tell that it means a lot to him, and our players definitely appreciate everything that he does each and every week.
He does a great job, so hats off to Ryan Burke and the entire special teams. And again, the Mustangs 4-4 overall after the victory over Upper Iowa this last Saturday in Fayette. And again, the Mustangs returning home Saturday, October 30th. It should be it's kind of a scary game. That's my Halloween joke. It's going to be exciting for both teams, and I've always had a good rivalry with them. I had to throw that in there somehow. I apologize for that bad joke. But again, the Mustangs, October 30th, 4:30 at the Regional Event Center as the Mustangs take on Winona State. The Warriors at 5-3 overall, so it should be a good ball game on Saturday. Hope to see you out there at the stadium. For the head coach, Cory Sauter, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Cory Sauter Show. Until next time, go Mustangs.